Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I got some new stuff. Got a new guitar. Got a new guitar. A few new guitars. Right there. That's another one. I'm gonna need to check something real quick. See, this is the problem with trying to do multiple things live. Let me see. I have to open Instagram up on my iPad to see if I can actually hear things. Let me see. Where are you? Looks like I'm not. But I definitely am on, what's it called? YouTube. So that's cool, I guess. Is this right? Let me look. You know what? Let me see. I think I need to do this. Let me try this again. We're almost there. We are so almost there. Okay. There I am. There I am. Okay. 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 So close. So close. So close. So close. All right. Well, Okay. Woo! That's the way to do it. Cool. There we are. Okay. Sorry, y'all. What's going on, y'all? I am trying to get some of this set up. Do I hate Texas? No. Absolutely not. Why would you ask such a question? All right. Okay, so this is what I'm dealing with. What? I didn't delete all my YouTube videos with Josh Price. Or if you're talking about like church videos, then the church just takes down certain streams over the years, so they're not backlogging a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so I got this new guitar, or a few new guitars. I got this new guitar, and there, and that Gretsch on Christmas Eve as a trade. So I'm no longer the owner of the what's it called? I'm no longer the owner of my DGT anymore. Let me see if this will work. I am now the proud owner of a Gretsch 6120 or 6180. I still always forget what they're called. And this is a 1967 Yamaha something. I think it's called SA30. One more thought. There you go. How's it sound to y'all? This has been the one thing I've been fighting up against with Instagram Live, and streaming from my computer is the sound quality. My best Mayer lick. I mean, I love. Tip for that vibrato chorus sound. So for okay, so it kind of depends. For chorus sound, actually, let me get a pull up chorus sound. I'm using my little studio board, which is like a Nobles ODR type of thing. A Mostortion, the Walrus Audio M1, a Strymon Night Sky, and a Strymon Volante. Not in that order, obviously. So for chorus, I like kind of a bright sounding chorus. Obviously, I'm in mono. But so anyway, so for a chorus sound, I like it. I like to sound like the move myself. For chorus sounds, I kind of try to. How my wife's on. Gosh, I like to sound. I try to make it sound like a tri-stereo chorus. Whereas for vibrato, I'm kind of just going for like seasick vibrato, like just kind of like on the Walrus Audio Julia. I like to have the what's it called? I like to have the waveform be a triangle waveform, and honestly, my rate and depth kind of just vary depending on how I'm feeling in the moment. There's not really a huge rhyme or reason to it. Let me move this up. Yeah, that's kind of what I like to do for vibrato sounds. For chorus, I really just want it to be like kind of like this. Like I kind of think of, funny enough, I love the chorus tones of like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Which, you know, the band would get a real kick out of because they hate the Chili Peppers. Anyway. Let me just check again on here. Give me just a minute. Oh, it looks like it didn't sound too bad. Nice. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. So yeah, for vibrato sounds, yeah, that's kind of how I do it. For chorus, I really just want it to be kind of bright and lively. Anyway, that's where I mean, we can talk about vibrato and chorus, but this is Christmas week, and this was my Christmas present to myself. This guitar and that Gretsch over there. Actually, let me go pull up the Gretsch. All right, here's the Gretsch. It is big and it is orange. But it's a Gretsch, you know? It's a Gretsch. Does the Gretsch thing. It's also a lot quieter. Am I into relics? I mean, I'm not opposed to them. Some people get all hot and bothered about relics, and it's fine. You know, I think it's a cool look. I mean, my Les Paul is very, very, very naturally relic due to being almost 50 years old. But yeah, I mean, get what you like. If you like a guitar that looks relic, then get a guitar that looks relic. If you like a brand new looking guitar, get a brand new looking guitar. Doesn't really matter. this guitar up just a little bit. Here we are. Can you collab with a Pakistan as a guitar solo? Yeah. I don't see why not. I'm assuming you're asking if I would be available to collaborate with a Pakistani playing guitar. I assume so. Yeah, I so it's kind of weird. I when I decided that I was going to trade the DGT, basically what I told myself was I can easily replace it. It's as easy as going to Sweetwater and just saying, "Hey, I want a DGT," and bam, in a few days it gets shipped to me. And PRS's quality is just fantastic across the board. And the main thing is that I was using my Les Paul a lot more than the PRS, and I'm not a collector. I like to have things that can kind of operate as like different color palettes for when I'm playing, and so that's really ultimately what I decided to do. Was I wanted to expand my tonal color palettes, getting rid of things that I was not using all the time, and just expanding it. What's up, Anthony? Florida boy. And so right now I have the Gretsch. I have I have the Gretsch. I have the Yamaha. I have my ES330, which is fully hollow P90. I have my Les Paul, which does the PAF dual humbucker thing. I have the Telecaster, which does the Tele thing. I have my Strat, which does the Super Strat thing with the Dan Huff wiring, and then I have the baritone. So I have a lot of bases covered. And so far I've been liking it. I mean, like on a session today, I used just the Tele. For Christmas, the Christmas Eve services, I used my Les Paul and the Yamaha. And probably this coming weekend, I'll probably use this just to, their colors, and that's good. Honestly, the one thing I might end up getting is the one. So I'm not a fan of what's it called? Like Jazzmaster style shapes. I'm just not a fan. So that might be like the long lost one that I eventually get, but not anytime soon. Not into a fan. I'm not a fan of that kind of style guitar. So, favorite guitar part in a worship song right now? I don't know. What's out there right now? Oh, actually, you know what? I like Hislop's and Kenyon Reed's parts a lot on the Come Up Here album. They did just such a good job of being very specific and precise with the tones they picked, and so yeah, big fan of their tones for this most recent album. Obviously, they're great guys and they're great players and all, but this specific album, I'm loving it. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, share the files with me. Shoot me a DM and we can get talking. What else? Got it. Andrew Shively. So is Elliott and Veritas overrated in your opinion? I don't know. I mean, I've never played an Elliott. I've never played a Veritas, so I can't really speak to that. Their sound for sure, but at the end of the day, I mean, even like the guys from Bethel, they're basically using it's a Tele with vintage style humbuckers with a Bigsby. So, I mean, I wouldn't pay exorbitant amount of money to get one, but if I needed that color, then sure, why not? But right now I have this color. Right now I have bright orange. I do think the Elliot is very expensive. That's not like a dog on them at all. They're very expensive, like $4,000, $5,000, and but people swear by them. So I don't know. Unfortunately, because I've never put my hands in them, I don't know if I could really say a yes or a no to why people would desire it or not. The band I mentioned, just Bethel. I thought their parts were great on this most recent album, especially the tones. Like I said, Kenyon Reed and David Hislop and Jonathan Lay just had really, really great tones on this latest album. Highland effing official, my boy. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. So, as far as tones, I got to use kind of a cool tone today on the session I was working on. So I have the sound on the Strymon Night Sky. I've always liked it. And the cool thing is, I've been able to kind of recreate it on the Meris Mercury X. Though with the Meris one, I'm actually able to get a little bit more from the sound. So obviously on this one, I have that kind of slow envelope opening and closing. I always wanted to see if I could have that be synced up to MIDI clock. And fortunately enough, they did exactly that. Meris did. One thing that's interesting about this guitar is that it's a lot quieter than I expected it to be. And maybe that's just in contrast in comparison to the Yamaha, because the Yamaha is like really loud and bright, really super clear. Yeah, this is a fun sound. Anthony, yes you do. Yes, you do need a Meris Mercury X. Also, have any of y'all checked out the links in my bio and downloaded any of those Mercury X and LVX presets? Johnny Ramirez, my boy, how are you? Welcome to Wednesday Night Live with me. Let me see this. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live with me. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live with me. Yes, welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live with me. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. so messed up right now? Okay, so basically I cannot play like computer system audio. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. Unfortunately, currently my big rig is at home, so I can't do like a full. I can't do a full run through. I want to though. I want to do a full run through. So yeah, did you all play anything fun or interesting for Christmas? I know last week we talked about what I was doing. Yeah, we'll see how this guitar kind of fares in the whole scheme of it all. I think it'll be fun to have a bunch of different voices. Change some tones up. Is the bigger body a little hard to get used to? I think I like the thinner version. So, I mean, this actually is technically a thinner version of it. It's, I know Gretsch does make some extra big bodies, which are, I don't know the dimensions of it. But, like, this is, I think, maybe 2.5 inches, maybe 3 inches wide, thick. Sorry. At the body side. So yeah, I don't know entirely. And honestly, the body's not huge. Yeah, the body's not huge. Yeah. But I'm also kind of a fan of. I'm a fan of just kind of, if I get a new guitar, kind of own it, own up to it, and all of the little things to make it unique. So like this guitar, because it has a lot lower output than the rest of my guitars, I know that I'm gonna have to play a little differently and set my pedals a little differently. Yeah, the neck, dude, necks are weird. I've not really thought about thickness of necks or whatnot, minus the radius, for a long time. And a lot of these guitars, especially like the guitars from the late '60s, they all seem to have these really, really, really thin necks. Like the Yamaha has a really thin neck. My ES330 has a really thin neck. Also has a really narrow neck. I think I'm finding that I actually prefer a slightly wider, like neck and nut area. But it feels fine. I'm not having really any like huge playability problems. Sorry. Yeah. So I had a weird experience this morning when I was doing a recording session with someone. We did it over Zoom, and everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, I do some kind of weird something happens, and the session crashes, which is normally not a huge deal, right? You have auto backup and all that kind of stuff. And so I go to, I tell the client, hey, it crashed, and so I say, hey, give me just a few minutes to figure this out. So I get it back up and running, and I come to find that my auto save functions had been turned off, which means that we lost everything. I mean, we were in it maybe like 20 minutes, so not a whole ton of info. So I just said, hey, y'all go take a break for a few minutes. Let me just redo everything that I just did, and then we can kind of address it. So I was able to get it back up and running pretty quickly, but it was pretty embarrassing. So yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan of losing your entire session. 20 minutes into a session after you've already done like a handful of layers and everything. So as soon as that happened, I went back to my my settings, immediately changed it to backup every 5 minutes. So now I have a ton of backups for every single time I do a session, which is fine. That's kind of how you want it. Douglas Merritt, how are you, buddy? I was thinking the other day, I was texting a buddy, and I said, in the modeler world versus tube amp, so the tube amp versus the modeling world, what is, if you had to compare it as a battle of like East Coast versus West Coast, like the rap beefs of the '90s, who would be who? Who would be West Coast? Who would be East Coast? If it was a tube amp versus modelers, I'm not sure. Some people thought East Coast because East Coast is older, a little bit more traditional. West Coast would be modelers because of, I don't know. cast your vote. This guitar also has a mud switch. Yeah, I kind of lean towards tube amps being East Coast and modelers being West Coast. No reason, just it's what my gut says would probably be the case. Modeler is just all about convenience and stage. Can't have my amp on there with me anyway, and I can't use one at home really either noise wise. Yeah. I mean, I'm using a tube amp right now. So, I don't know, checkmate. Sam McCabe. If y'all aren't following Sam yet, go ahead and follow him. He's putting out, obviously he's a great guy. He's not too far from me anyway, but great songwriter, great worship leader, great artist. He released it was an EP, right? He released an EP recently that's freaking fantastic, and he's releasing a full-length album in sometime next year. That's all I know. Yeah, with some great guys who played in it. So follow him, like all of his stuff. He's a great guy. Your West Coast, yeah, West Coast, born in the East, though. Mud switch. Yeah, the mud switch is fine. Some people just don't get it. So I have some ideas. Obviously, I'm making a point to be here every single Wednesday. What would y'all like to see? I'm obviously, I'm kind of partial to doing like the live guitar thing for it, as long as we can get the sound stuff to work, which I think it's working fine right now. But would y'all want to see more topical things like talking and chatting? More conceptual things? Or just kind of feel it out by the week. I'm gonna grab the Yamaha again. Yeah, I think the kind of like Q&A, always good. Yeah, yeah, sure. Maybe it could be a good idea. It could be a good idea to do AMAs on a Wednesday and then just bring them up here. Yeah, this guitar is so much clearer sounding. So signal wise, I'm actually doing something interesting. So I am running my guitar into let's see, where am I? I'm running my guitar through my my whole amp setup and everything, and then I'm running that into this guy. So I'm actually just using the tape machine as like a summing mixer at the moment. Kind of see the. No, you can't see it. The tape part of it's really cool too. Yeah, this guitar was a lot of fun to play this past weekend. We should talk about Chipotle. That was a surprising that was a surprising day. I believe that people like to be judged by the food that they consume. They wouldn't say it, but I mean, they have to be because it's kind of comical. I posted a story just saying, "What's your Chipotle order?" and just started Dave Portnoy rating them 1 through 10. I'm pretty sure that I think Josh Flores had the best one, apart from me. I mean, mine was a 10, obviously. Yeah, this guitar's money. I discovered that construction-wise, it's interesting. Apparently, the pickups have like a mismatched coil. So, like one side of the coil in a humbucker, you have two coils. Usually, they're the same resistance, the same whatever. But apparently, on these pickups, one of the coils is slightly larger than the other, and like maybe we'll just say like one is 1/4 size and the other is 3/4 size. So like it's that drastic. They both read the same, which means that they're mismatched coils in both the amount of winds, but the same resistance between. So you have different coils, different wiring, and all that kind of stuff. It's such a cool. It's pretty dope. And I think it also has a ceramic magnet in it, which basically gives it more output, but it stays clean. I hated mine, but I was wrong. What was yours? What was your Chipotle order? Andrew Golson, bro, miss you. Me and Andrew Golson were roommates many, many, many years ago. Also think I need to change the strings on these. They're pretty light. I mean, I like light strings. I like 9s and 9.5s, but I think these could definitely use 10s. 10s or maybe 11s. Also, cool thing about this guitar is that it has this kind of Bigsby-esque bridge, except I don't know how to describe it. It operates like a Bigsby or maybe like a Maestro Vibrola or whatever, but it's super stable. You can also get like those cool like Strati. I don't even call them. But like if I were to play this, those really cool flutter sounds. Obviously, you know it has more room than the Bigsby. Yeah, it's just a fun guitar. So your bowl was a chicken fajita, double white. Yeah, it's double white rice. Why the heck are you getting double white rice? Like, bro, they're already charging you an arm and a leg. Like, why get double rice? Like, if you want like pure volume of food, get guac on there or something that's gonna give you like a little bit more nutritional density than freaking white rice. Come on, bro. Yeah, dude. It'd be good. It'd be good to hear your voice. Shoot me a DM or a text if for some reason you don't have my number. I know it's a free upgrade. I get that. Now, okay, so I could see the value in beans, but not rice. Rice is just like empty carbs. Not empty carbs, but it's just like empty volume as far as I'm concerned. No, I get it. I mean, don't get me wrong. My bowl was a lot of money. It's like $18, which just goes to show you that Chipotle is just not a great deal. And I mean, I get it, but you know, what am I gonna do? Not eat? All right, let's open it up for the next few minutes for any gear questions, guitar, production, whatever. We can talk about, or we can continue to talk about Chipotle if you want. I'm fine with both. I'm fine with either. I'm fine with either talking about your Chipotle order or some kind of gear question, generic thing on Wednesday Night Live. I've discovered that when I'm playing guitar, and I think a lot of musicians kind of have the same thing. You know, everyone has a thing they play the moment they plug their guitar in. Mine is always an A chord. Some kind of version of that. And that's purely because I was raised by a boomer who loves The Who. And I love The Who as well. So it's always kind of about playing some kind of version of Don't Get Fooled Again. Then it's like, you know, when I was a kid, my parents would be like, they would have a party and say, "Hey, Jimmy, go play something." And I'm like, I don't want to play. I don't know what to play. Yeah, I think the ability to do the flutter on this guitar is one of those cool things that I'm pretty much always going to do. What's cool about it is that because the style of vibrato is a lot more loose than like say like a Bigsby. Bigsby's can feel kind of stiff at times. Yeah, I do that on my Strat too. Yeah, I love a good sensitive vibrato. The Bigsby's, and I think the reason is because then I'm less likely to overuse it when I'm playing. Of course, I'm overusing it right now. I thought about reaching out to some pickup guys about copying these pickups. I would love to see what they sound like and hear what they sounded like in other guitars. Maybe like Fralin or whatever. Feels like it would be a cool thing to. Seems like it'd be a cool style of pickup to market to people. Are any of you guys looking to buy anything before the end of the year? Is like a tax thing. What's my taste in pickup output? Yeah, I agree. A lot of people like really, really low output pickups, and yeah, it's fine. Like I like So let me rephrase it. It doesn't really fit exactly how I like to play. I've come to realize that I'm a rock player basically, for the most part. Obviously, I do a bunch of different other styles, but the style and tone that comes most natural to me is like more rock tones. So as a result of that, I tend to like medium to hot pickups more, depending on the guitar. So if I'm using my humbuckers, actually, here. So my Strat has kind of like Dan Huff type wiring, which has a hot humbucker in the bridge and two stacked single coils. All the pickups are able to be via a little mini toggle switch to be set to series or parallel. Well, in this case, the singles are actually series and split, so they're noise canceling. But so in that case, using a hot pickup is kind of crucial because a low output or even like a PAF output style humbucker in parallel just doesn't work. It's super super anemic and weak sounding. So I think that a slightly hotter pickup, and I say hotter is a very relative thing because a PAF could range in DC resistance depending on the magnet and depending on the kind of wiring they used. 7K to 8K is pretty average, maybe even 9 on if someone was feeling excited that day. But 9K to 11K, I kind of like as like a hot rodded PAF type of thing. Something that's like super super high output, like a Seymour Duncan Invader or like a Duncan JB. I mean, the JB is fine too. It's a classic, its own thing. The difficult part with hotter pickups is that you get a lot more compression from the pickup side as opposed to it from the the effects side or your playing dynamics. So like on the PRS that I just traded, I had Duncan Antiquities on there, and that felt fantastic. In other guitars I compared it to I compared the Antiquities to the Lambertone Cremas, which I was not a fan of when I tried them. I have a YouTube video on my channel about it, where I put them in my Les Paul, and I basically made the video saying, "Hey, why am I returning them?" Well, because it doesn't sound like I want a Les Paul to sound. Turns out that I want a Les Paul to sound like a Les Paul. And so like I said, all in all, not a huge fan of super low output pickups, even though I know that the Cremas and even like the Lawler and El Rayos, they're not low output, but they kind of feel low output, if that makes any sense. I just want a guitar to feel like how the guitar is supposed to feel. So like my Tele, obviously it's lower output pickups, but it feels right because it's a Telecaster. The Gretsch has lower output pickups and it feels like it has lower output because it's a Gretsch and it has the Filtertrons, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of humbuckers, I typically prefer medium to high output pickups. Just got the HX1. Wanted to something that could do a few different things, change it via MIDI. Yeah, I mean, I, I think Line 6's effects have always been fantastic. I had the M5 for years, like years upon years upon years, and it was great. Great sounding multi effect. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember the timeline, the Eventide H9 is what kicked off the M5, which makes sense. I mean, Eventide's dope. And obviously the H90 I have now, and it's great too. The H90 was kind of a cool thing to go back to because it, in a lot of ways, I tell people that it kind of felt like home because I used H9s for years. I had years ago I had a board that had 3 H9s on it. And it was a lot, or it seemed like it was a lot, but I don't know. In my opinion, excess is kind of up to interpretation. It's in the eye of the beholder. Some people think that using 3 Strymon pedals is excessive. I don't think it's excessive. Some people think having three reverb, like $high reverb pedals on your board is excessive, and it might be, but who cares? You get the sounds that you want, then who cares what people do? All right, we got more questions. Thoughts on the brown protein? I never liked the brown protein. Never liked it. I owned one for about a year, maybe like a year and a half, and it never made it on my board. I just kind of kept it around. Didn't like it. At the end of the day, I had at the time and currently, let's see, at the time I had an original Nobles ODR one, like a vintage one, that was fantastic. And I had a King of Tone. An actual King of Tone. I still do. And the brown protein just didn't sound as good as either of those. And honestly, I kind of got confirmed last week sometime. I was hanging with a buddy of mine. He wanted me to help him with some tone stuff. And so we got together and he had a brown protein. And I remember thinking, man, it just doesn't feel good. I don't want to say it doesn't sound good because sound and tone is still kind of to be interpreted, but yeah, wasn't a huge fan of it. I would much rather have like a dedicated King of Tone or Prince of Tone, and a dedicated ODR. Now, what got the vintage ODR off my board was I bought a Nordland ODR-C, which that is fantastic. That's a great overdrive pedal. Yeah, and it has a mid control. It has like a compression control on the gain. Kind of gain compression. It gives you more control and it sounds freaking great. Let's see what else. JM or P90 in an offset. Oh, pickups. I mean, I don't like offset guitars, so pick whatever you want. I don't really care. I mean, I don't know. Maybe do both. Maybe do a Jazzmaster neck pickup and a P90 in the bridge. Because I think that's the thing. That's the thing that people are critical of is the Jazzmaster pickups tend to sound really, really, really bright in the bridge. That's probably what I'd recommend. Or just, say to hell with it and get, 3 humbuckers. Do whatever you want. I mean, whatever's going to get the sound that you want. Now, if you need a Jazzmaster type sound, then sure, go do that. Yeah, the H90 is awesome. And honestly, it was expensive. I'll say that. But I don't have any regrets with it. I mean, it's one of the best multi-effects you can buy for guitars. And so the takeaway is if you're gonna spend $800 or $900 on a pedal, get a lot of use out of it. Which is honestly one of the main reasons why I put the CXM 1978 on the board, because I wanted to use it. It's excessive, but I wanted to use it, and I loved it. That's my opinion on PRS SE guitars. They're fantastic. They're probably the best. If anyone ever has like a question about budget guitars, I'm like, dude, just get a PRS SE. PRS's quality throughout their entire line is fantastic. There's not a crappy PRS guitar. People might have preferences on what they like or what they don't like, and that's fine too. But dude, PRS all the way. Even though I just sold one, or even though I just traded for one, like if like a Silver Sky came up and I was able to get one, I would snag it in a heartbeat. Or a custom 22 or 24, like yeah, or another DGT at some time down the road. Yeah, absolutely. Anything PRS is great. SE, the S2 line is great as well. If you care about having an American made guitar, S2. If you don't want to spend $4,000 on a core model, then yeah, S2. You have a PRS SE Custom 24. It's great. I'd suggest getting the locking tuners and throwing them on. Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that I'm not really a huge fan of when it comes to PRS is I'm not a big fan of their finishes. And I'm not talking about like the flame stuff. Like I'm all for being gaudy if you want to be gaudy. I don't like how poly finishes feel on the hands, especially on the neck. Like yeah, do a poly on the body, do whatever you want. But on the neck, allow it to be satin or allow it to be something. I mean, I don't know. I don't sweat a ton when I play, so I don't really have to worry about like feeling gunky on my hands. It's just the preference for how it feels. Like this is very obviously a nitro finished guitar, and it feels so smooth right here because of years of playing. Same thing with my Gibson, with both my Gibsons. Yeah, this guitar is so good. It's kind of a weird thing though because the feel of the guitar when I'm playing it acoustically feels kind of weak, but the tone coming out of it into the amps is just so good. So yeah, I would highly recommend any PRS guitar, whatever budget you have. If you have a budget for $10,000, then buy a $10,000 PRS if you want to. If your budget's $500, get it. I think the Vela models are something that I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen much more of in the church world. They're great guitars. Like, and they kind of tick the box of people who want like a Gretschy thing. I always thought that they would look pretty dope if you could find a way to put like a Bigsby B3 or like a B5 or whatever is on those guitars, or the longer one. If they could ever figure out how to do that on a PRS Vela model or something similar, I think it would do really, really well. I play worship music as well. Do you think a Big Sky would be good? Sure. I mean, yeah, Big Sky is kind of the standard for reverb in the worship world. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's your kind of end goal? Yeah, it is glossy. Yeah, the PRS guitars are super glossy. It doesn't bother me either. It's more of a feel thing, and I don't know. Strat is that way, so I'm used to it. Biggest issue for SE is the middle and neck pickup sound is a little dull. Really? Is the neck? So you're saying the neck pickup's a little dull sounding, but the bridge is great. Yeah. Do I use drives as drives with the gain knob up, or more like boost? Um, it depends on how the amp is set. So everyone always kind of talks about the on the edge of breakup type of thing in terms of how you set your amps or how you set your modelers through whatever. I mean, it's really no different. The key, the way to think of it is like this: if you have an amp, you want the amp to breathe a little bit, and and what I mean by that is you want it to compress just a little bit when you're putting into it. Otherwise, when you're playing super hard, you have so much transient information, and it can get sounding kind of pokey. So, for instance, on my Bassman, if I set the Bassman volume to 2, it can seem a little harsh on the transient, like the pokey notes. If I set it to 2.5, it brings that down a bit. If I set it to 3, then I'm actually on the verge of like driven tones. That's just how kind of gainy a bassman can be. And so you want it somewhere in the middle, and that's what people call on the verge of breakup, because it's on the verge of breaking up. I would actually prefer it to be a little bit more on the verge. So if 2.5 is the verge, I'll set it to 3 just to get a little bit more juice out of it, which then allows me to play a little bit more dynamically. So, but in terms of how I use my drives, it kind of depends. I like, generally speaking, I use them more like boosts. The Klon is, I kind of go back and forth, and it kind of depends on the guitar that I'm using. My Klon, I'll have the gain set kind of on the verge, I guess, kind of on the verge of saturating, and the volume somewhere, just kind of at unity or a little bit above unity, just so that I have a little bit of push, because the Klon, the frequency range that the Klon boosts is like 1 or 2K, and so it can be pretty like in your face, which is great. It's what makes the Klon awesome. Whereas the my kilt, the JHS kilt that I have, the V2, I think I prefer that more like a drive, and I'll even kind of set it like a fuzz. So the kilt has the red remote, and so I'll use a MIDI command from the RJM to turn the red remote on and off, so that I have a an ultra saturated fuzzy tone when I want it. What's up, Sam? Oh yeah, but okay. Also, Kyler, regarding the Big Sky. Yeah, sure. I mean, it sounds great. I'm partial to the Meris Mercury X personally. I know it's more money, and I personally love the ability and the flavors that I can get, because I like to tweak sounds, and I like what Meris gives me in terms of the tools to make the sound that I want. So, for instance, I recently discovered on the Mercury X that you have like a dynamic section that you can adjust. You can basically adjust diffusion with a dynamics block. It's not a dynamics block, but it's a dynamic section. And so what that means is that I can basically compress certain parts of the diffusion in the top end. So if I have the diffusion set basically all the way up to with the filter at 24K or 20,000 hertz, then I'm getting a full range. If I bring it down to like 10K or 7K, then I'm getting a lot warmer sound. It's still it's not like a tone control. It's literally just compressing the tail end of the high end. So like you still get it, but it's not going to be as in your face or as super bright. It's a feature that I found that I really liked. So that's why I prefer the what's it called, the Meris Mercury X. But if you just want a great sounding reverb, and maybe you don't want to spend $400 or $500, Boss RV5 or RV6. I mean, that's been the talking point between me and Jake Faber and some other guys up there. It's like, dude, the RV5 just sounds great, and it always does, and it always will. It's really simple, and it doesn't sound real, whatever that means, but it sounds fantastic. Can be good if you want that darker mouthing. Yeah, regarding the pickups for sure. Yeah. So yeah. Let me see. Okay, so this is kind of my third power set, kind of clean and loud. This is kind of how I would set the Nobles. Yeah, so it's distorted. It's not. I would not call that a clean boost. Suggestions for setting a compressor on my board, if you use one typically. Yes, I do use a compressor, and I actually just recently switched how I use it. Sorry, I I think I'm in the camp of people that prefer to use a compressor not as an always on sound. I had it set as an always on thing, like the very first pedal and chain before basically my guitar plugs into my patch bay and then into the compressor before the switcher and everything. And I that was fine for a little while, except what I found that I preferred at the very front end was actually like an EQ or a boost. So I use the RC booster now. So the way I set my compressor is I don't want it subtle. I want it as an effect. I want it to be heard. So I think that's kind of the thing in the church guitar world that really needs to be shut down, is that there's too much subtlety in things. You have always on compressor, always on drive. You're basically always on second gain stage, and it's like, dude, just get gnarly if you want to get gnarly. There's nothing wrong with that. And find what you want to sound like. So anyway, how I set it is, so like right now I have the Keeley compressor on my board. Yes, I took the the Cali 76 off and put the Keeley on, because what the Keeley does really, really good is that kind of squishy, compressed thing. And that's what I want. That's really what I want in a compressor. I have a bunch of different types of compressors. I have the Cali 76. I've had the Bloom. I have another big favorite of mine is the Maxon CP9 Pro Plus, which is like a DBX style compressor. I have two hardware units for the DBX right here. Easily, definitely some of my favorite sounding compressors. And that would probably, I might take the Keeley off and put that back on there for a little while. I like that compression style a lot. A lot of the compressor styles where it's like LA2A or like a lot of the UA stuff, 76, it's like, dude, I mean, yeah, they all sound good for sure. But when I want a compressor on my board, I want it kind of squishy sounding. So the main thing there is to kind of watch your level. I want it to feel like it's actually being ducked down, so that when I play quietly, let me turn the compressor on right now. So I just turned the Cali 76 on this board, and so it's doing the 1176 thing where it's bringing everything up. So I'm picking very, very, very softly. So I think in a lot of ways I use compression kind of like as a overall bringing upper. So and the negative side of that is that you're raising your noise floor. So if I have a lot more noise right now than I would if I did not have the compressor on. So that's kind of how I like to set it. I want it as an effect. I don't want it subtle. I want it as an effect. Hope that answers your question. I'll be on for about 10 more minutes, then I'm going to jump off. How have you been using a compressor in your setup? And the reason why I like to set my compressor like that is because it actually makes the. I feel like it makes the notes sound a little chirpier. Wrong way. That might be the wrong word, but it just kind of feels like I don't have to play as hard to get like a. Like I can kind of get like the sound of a guitar, like if you're playing on like the bridge pickup with the volume dialed back a little bit, a little easier. Yeah, mirror with the blend. You know what's weird? I love the idea of the blend, and it is definitely kind of critical, in my opinion, to a compressor being good or a pedal compressor being a good compressor. But like I said before, a lot of guys just have a setting that never turns off, and it's all just very subtle. So I'm like, hey, my challenge to you is maybe get a better core sound. Get a better core sound that is more in line with what you're what you're hearing, or what you're hearing inside your head, and then use the compressor as an effect. Make it aggressive. Make it something else. Trying to figure out how to use it still. Right now, it's subtle. It's always on. Okay, so what I would do is this: turn the blend all the way down. Dial in a sound that is pretty aggressive, um, but get it to about unity level with your dry guitar sound, and then bring the blend up maybe like a quarter of the way up. That's what I would do as a good starting point. I don't know what the controls are on the Mira. Oh, I'm so happy with this guitar. This guitar is just so great. Yeah. Yeah. Expect a lot of videos showing that. Nice. Yeah. Try it and let me know what you think. My DMs are always open. Blend, release, attack, makeup. Okay. Yeah. Makeup gain. Volume lost. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I mean, twist some knobs. Release and attack. Try a for guitar for something that's kind of aggressive. Try a short attack. Yeah, try a short attack, and then maybe medium release. So I don't know if it has numbers on it that shows like ratios and whatever. So maybe try like the attack at, I don't know. Yeah, this way. Okay. So like if it's a circle and it's so here, oh gosh, I'm dumb right now. Try setting the attack at like 9 o'clock, release at noon. Makeup gain is going to be your volume essentially. Makeup gain is actually, it's a great alternative way to view it instead of just volume, because the compressor is compressing your signal, so makeup gain is what brings it back up. So find wherever Unity is, maybe add a little bit more. So if you find Unity, then bring it up like an extra dB or something like that, and then just tailor the blend knob after that. It should sound pretty good. But like I said, the key thing is like don't be afraid to be aggressive with it, making an effect. It's not. I mean, you can use it always on. That's fine, but I think it's kind of a waste. Have it always on. All right, we got 3 minutes. Well, I found a cool delay sound earlier today with the what's it called? It was on it's a Valhalla delay. Let me find it. Where are you? There you are. So a friend of mine is really, really, really into Steve Lukather and all those guys. And these are apparently these are Steve Lukather's delay settings from way back when. It is stereo delay with 270 milliseconds on the left and 305 milliseconds on the right. So I'll bring it down. Oh, another thing that I am kind of fully embracing right now is that I think I just straight up prefer digital delay instead of tape delay. And the reason being is on a digital delay, you can make it sound like whatever you want. You can make it sound as pristine and clean as possible. Like right here on the Valhalla digital delay, I'm going to take the EQ, the height controls, basically bring it down to 7,000 hertz and 800 hertz. Oops, let me do that. So I can get it sounding super dark. Or if I want to go to full fidelity. Yeah. I used that in a song today. And it was not subtle. I feel like people got obsessed with tape delay, and tape delay is fantastic. I've used my tape machine as a tape delay before, and it's so great. I just want options, and I want to make different sounds when I have them. I'm using the Volante right now and the Night Sky right now, and they're so good and they sound so great at what they do. But the Mercury 7 actually, yes, But the Mercury X and the LVX just give me a lot more for what I want. So, all right, y'all, I'm gonna hop off. Thanks for joining in on Wednesday Night Live every Wednesday at 9 or 9:30. I think we'll just set it for 9. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it 9 to 10, 1 hour. Chat, talk gear, talk Chipotle bowls, talk tone. And maybe next week what I'll do is we'll do an AMA and we'll just go through everything. I think that'd be fun. So, y'all have a great night. Thanks for joining in, and yeah, have a great time. See you later. Oh man, I missed everything from YouTube. Yeah, I think the digital delay for lead stuff and darker analog for rhythm stuff. I think that's a pretty good. That's a good thing to. That's a good idea. All right, my apologies, y'all. I completely forgot about YouTube. All right, well I'm gonna head out. Y'all take it easy. Have a good night. Bye.